As we step out onto this path of achieving true fullness, true wholeness as a person, it's so important that we create a relationship, that we explore every aspect and every facet of who we are as a being. And I know for me personally, as a man, as I began this journey exploring who I was and what the masculine really meant to me, it actually required me to start a relationship and actually have a journey into what my own inner feminine was, to realize that we have a polar opposite, that we have a gender energy opposite that exists within us simultaneously. And for me as a man to step into my wholeness as a man, I actually had to create that relationship with my own inner feminine. And I feel like it's so important also for women, as I see all of you beautiful sisters out there stepping up into your radiance, into your power, bringing down the divine feminine to the planet right now, that it's also just as important to reach out and to understand you have masculine energy and to create a relationship with your own inner masculine. And when you have a powerful and balanced and healthy relationship with your own inner masculine, everything in your life can transform. And this is what this course, Calling Him Home, is all about. It's to help you as a woman get in contact with your own inner masculine, to figure out what that inner masculine essence is inside you and how to have a healthy and how to have a healed relationship with that inner masculine. And when you have that healthy and that healed relationship with your masculine, so many things can shift, so many things can transform in your life, especially around relationships. And you'll notice when you have a beautiful inner connection with your masculine, when it becomes healed, explored, and integrated, the type of partners that you'll manifest will shift. And also the type of quality of a relationship that you'll have will completely transform. That all the maybe negative things that you experienced in the past will be brought into the light and transmuted so that the new relationship template you have will be completely healed and completely transformed. So over the course of 8 weeks, in this course, we'll be exploring 3 key areas which are going to have such a powerful effect on how you connect with your inner masculine, how you heal your inner masculine, and how we can use that new healed relationship to create the type of partners and the type of relationships we truly, really, on the heart level, desire. So the first section we'll be exploring is really where it all begins, is how do we heal our inner masculine? How do we get in contact with our inner masculine? You know, this is really where the journey takes such a profound inner turn, where we get to go inside and figure out what's going on inside our being, and how can we get in contact with that masculine that you may or may not be aware that you have. So we'll be looking at things of what type of wounds do we carry? Because oftentimes, you know, for me being a man, I would carry wounds around my inner feminine. And I think so many women are carrying wounds within their own inner masculine, whether it's from their own personal journey, you know, with different partners, family members, friends, or even from just being a woman feeling the collective feminine wounding that happens around the masculine. We carry these wounds, and in order to really create this balanced, healthy relationship with our own inner masculine, with your own inner masculine, it's so important that we have the courage to finally explore what type of wounds are in there. Where did they come from? How are they affecting us? So really starting to dive into what type of wounds do you carry as a woman specifically related to the masculine. And after we explore, you know, what these wounds are and how we can get to the core of them and to heal them and to heal their essence so that they no longer keep us bound to a certain energy field or a certain thought pattern, we're going to get into all of the type of thoughts, beliefs, and blocks that we have around the masculine, our inner masculine, and also the external masculine. Because so often, you know, I see women carrying these really powerful blocks or these really powerful belief systems that can range anywhere from, you know, fears, anxieties, resistances, resentments, trust issues. So we're really going to start tapping into the core of what are some of these wounds, and also what are the type of beliefs that we have around the masculine, what are some of the blocks that we have around the masculine. And these are all these subtle things that exist within our own being, whether we're aware of them or not, that actually stops us from having the ability of connecting to the masculine, and especially connecting to our own inner masculine. And then we're going to start diving into what is the masculine, especially what does it mean when we're expressing the masculine from our being. Because there's both really light aspects or positive expressions of our own inner masculine, and also some negative or shadow-oriented expressions of the masculine. So we're going to really dive deeply inside ourselves and see what areas of our lives Are we acting from aspects of our masculine, and are they positively oriented, or are they negatively or shadow oriented? Because oftentimes when we're not even aware of some things that are going on inside us, they can even be expressed as shadow, the unconscious. So it's like we're going to take a beautiful flashlight and start to really look inside ourselves and see what things are operating inside ourselves, whether we're aware of them or not. And when we finally become aware of them, when we start to see where we're acting from our own internal masculine, how can we shift it? How can we move things around? And how can we transmute it so that all of the expressions of our being revolving around the masculine come out in a fully light and positive oriented way? The next section we'll be diving into is how do we manifest the type of partner that we've always wanted? You know, the type of partner that we know our heart really desires, but for some reason we might be noticing that we keep manifesting the same type of partner or the same qualities in our partners, where no matter how many times we say we want something different, we might be manifesting either the same type of partner or the same qualities that come through our partners. And we're going to really explore how one of the biggest, hidden keys or missing ingredients that bring us the type of partners that we experience is actually hidden within our relationship to our own inner masculine, to your own inner masculine relationship that you have. So we're going to really start exploring, as we get into healing our masculine and bringing our masculine into a beautiful, balanced, healthy relationship with inside ourselves. All these things that maybe have manifested those same type of partners or those same type of qualities in partners, we get to really investigate and see why we were calling them in and how do we shift them if they weren't working for us or maybe they weren't of our highest desire. So we're going to be going inside this process and seeing that, one of the biggest things we can do is see how we can set the intention, how we can really issue a true invitation for the type of partner that we've always wanted. So we're going to get inside ourselves and see how do we set the intention and how do we issue this true energetic invitation, because so much of it is on an energetic or a deeper, more subtle level. We're going to get to the core and see what does it take to shift this? What does it take to create the space in order to call the type of partner in that we really want? So we'll be exploring how do we set that intention? How do we make it even to the deepest and most energetic level? How do we become receptive and how do we magnetize that type of partner that we really want so that we don't seem to manifest those same type of negative experiences or negative qualities that come through in past partnerships that we've had? And we're going to start exploring, how do we become the one that he is looking for? Because this is a beautiful two-way street. It's not just about trying to manifest the partner of our dreams. We also need to become the partner of our dreams. We also need to become the partner that our partner is looking for, because it's this beautiful, almost magnetizing effect that as we refine ourselves, as we work on ourselves, as we heal ourselves, we're also becoming the type of person that our true, beautiful partner is looking for as well. So we're going to be exploring how do we become the one that he's looking for? How do we love ourselves? How do we nourish ourselves? How do we uplift ourselves so fully that we actually become available for the type of relationship and the partner that we say we want? And we're going to be doing this and exploring this through two key areas like self-care, because how we love ourselves is really how we set the template of how people can love us. So we're going to be getting into what type of self-care is necessary to prepare our heart temple so that our partners can really come in and mirror the type of love that we're giving ourselves. And we're also going to be looking at self-respect. How do we really create those beautiful permissions and boundaries in our field that allow our hearts to be fully respected? And it starts by respecting ourselves and creating the type of template that we are really calling in and that we're really expecting. So how do we love ourselves, but also how do we create this self-respect, permission, and boundaries and template required that will really magnetize that partner to come into our lives and to love us in the ways that our hearts truly know they want, they need, and they should be loved. And then we're also going to be exploring, how to have a spiritual practice that really cultivates the ability to call in the type of partner we want. Again, because we're going to be taking this deep. We're going to be taking this on deep, energetic, and subtle levels of really getting into the baseline energies. Those really sneaky, subtle energies that might be in existence there. It's time to clear them out. Time to set a whole new template and really get to the core of who we are. And having a spiritual practice is such a powerful way and such an efficient way to become a aligned on those really deep and subtle levels. So we're going to be tuning in on how we can create a spiritual practice and how we can create a spiritual energy that's really required to have that type of thriving, evolutionary, and illuminated relationship that we really want on a heart level. And then the last section, it's what I call loving him while honoring yourself. And it's one of the sections I'm most excited about in this course because it's going to allow me, almost as an embodiment of the masculine, to share a little bit of what goes on inside us in relationships. You know, what's happening in our mentality, what's happening in our hearts as we really dive into truly deep and evolutionary relationships. So that way, as a woman, you can stay in your power in a relationship, and also you can be a little less confused and a little less, blocked when it comes to challenges arising in a relationship, or how can you help us love you more efficiently without you feeling like you have to sacrifice yourself or compromise parts of yourself. So we're going to be diving into this section, which is really, again, how can you love us more efficiently and more effectively in the way that we want and need to be loved, while at the same time honoring you, allowing you to stay in your power, to stay in your full radiance without shutting down or without sacrificing or compromising parts of who you are to stay happy in the relationship. So one of the biggest sections we'll be exploring here, of course, is conflict. Like, what happens when conflict arises in the relationship, especially when you're in partnership with a man? And how can you turn this conflict into a beautiful, positive outcome? How do you turn conflict and contraction into freedom and expansion? So we're going to be looking into that. As a woman, how can you love men when there might be times when we want to shut down? When the relationship might become too intimate or too powerful or too intense for us, we might want to shut down, and what to do or how to help us reopen when we shut down. Or oftentimes you might experience men, we will push you away if the relationship again becomes too intimate, too intense, or just too much for us to handle. We tend to push our partners away. So what can you do when you feel your partner pushing you away because the relationship is that powerful? Or if, men, sometimes we like to run away. If things again get too intense, too intimate, too personal, whatever it might be, if the relationship is just more than we feel like we can handle, we'll also want to run away. So what can you do as a woman, as a partner, for us when you feel us wanting to run away? How can you call us back home in a way that we'll actually respond to and that we'll want to return? So what can you do in those situations? We'll also be looking at, how can you create a mutually empowering relationship, especially when it comes to you as a woman? How can you stay in your full power, in your full glow? Because really, I think for men, there's nothing more scary than a woman who's really in her power, her full radiance, her full glow. It can be terrifying for us men. So in this section, we're going to be exploring now, how do you stay in your power? How can you stay in your full radiance and your full capacity as a woman without terrifying us men? And how can we work it so that your power is actually a call for our power to rise, and so that we're not going to become resistant? How do we handle your full glow, your full sexuality, your full dancing Shakti in all of its essence? How can we do that without us feeling like we're threatened by it? How can we create a relationship where each other's power actually calls the other partner higher to rise in their power as well? So this is going to be such a fun section about really how can you as a woman stand in your power in its full free way, and instead of causing men to shut down or to be scared of it or to resent it, how can it actually inspire us to rise in our power? And this is how you create mutually empowering relationships where both partners thrive off each partner standing fully in their power. And in this last section, one of my favorite sections, because it's something that's so close to my heart, we're going to be talking about how to initiate your partner, your man, into the deeper mysteries of who you are as a woman. And I know for me specifically, when I was in a younger state, a state I guess I'd call of lesser evolution in my life, I was really confused about more of the mystical or the sacred aspects of woman, of the feminine. It didn't make any sense to me. And as I really set the intention to learn about women on the deepest and most subtle levels, it allowed me to really be a partner in a way that I felt my partners needed and wanted. So we're going to be exploring, how do you connect with your partner? How can you bring them into things like your womb mysteries? What is womb consciousness? What does that mean to a man? How can a man understand that? that? How can you initiate him into your mysteries as a woman? And how can you teach him about the womb? How can you help him experience your womb? How can you even bring him things like moon time awareness? Like, how can your partner show up and really honor your menstruation cycle? What can he do as a partner in these really intimate, vulnerable times in your life? We're going to be talking about things like sacred fatherhood and preconception cleansing. What that means if you're looking to become a mother and you're with a partner who wants to be a father. How can we initiate men into this idea that conception, having a child is more than just offering our seed. It really goes through this big, beautiful, embodied process as a man. So how can we tap into that? And how can you educate your partner as a woman, speaking to him as a man in a way that he'll understand, be open to, be receptive, and respect? And also, the idea of sacred sisterhood, how important it is for women to come together right now. And how can you interact with your partner so that he'll understand your need to be around beautiful women who are in their power, in their Shakti, in their full expression, and why it's so important for women to come together right now without men feeling threatened by it, without men feeling left out. And also encouraging your partner to step into his need to be around other brothers right now, and how important it is for men to get together alongside with women getting together. So we're going to be really getting into, these subtle mysteries and magic of these deeper aspects of the divine feminine, and how can you help bring your partner, your man, through this process in a way that he'll be open to it, he'll be receptive to it, he won't want to shut down, and you'll be using the type of language that he'll understand. And this is something where I'm really excited to help you with, just because I can help bring you that type of language and bring you those type of avenues that you can help teach and educate your partner in a way that he'll really appreciate and will really uplift him. And then you get to experience what it's like to have a partner who meets you on those levels. So those were the beautiful sections that we'll be covering in this course. And the way the course will look, the layout of the course, is there'll be 5 different sections that we'll be covering here. There'll be 5 different areas within this 8 weeks. And each of these areas are going to come with a fully downloadable ebook. There's going to be live teleconferences. There's going to be live video questions and answers. There's going to be live guided meditations. And each of these parts, you can tune into it live, or after they're broadcast, I'll be recording them and then making them available for download. That way, I would love to have all of you there participating live. But if your schedule is not so easy or free right now, if you miss some of the live broadcasts, they'll all be recorded and made fully downloadable for you so that you can participate in this course in your own time in the way that feels best for you. And I just want to say thank you so much to you, to all the women out there who are stepping into their full selves, their whole selves, who are allowing every aspect of who they are to become uncovered, to be loved, to be healed, and to brought into full integration and alignment. And I feel so profoundly grateful, honored, and humble that I can be an embodiment of the masculine, holding space for your journey, creating this beautiful masculine container as you tap into your own inner masculine and create a beautiful relationship with both your masculine, and see how that can transform every aspect of your life, especially your relationships. So thank you so much, and I'm so excited to go on this beautiful 8-week journey with all of you.